So we are Friday the 3rd of January. Now as you can see we have beautiful crisp frosty weather at the minute. It's given for the cold week. They're talking temperatures down as far as minus 10 degrees Celsius. And here's a little thing I haven't brought out in a while. I'm going to use it now. It's my little converter. For those of you across the pond, it's my my soil temperature gauge. So it's showing, what is it showing now at the minute? I'm only have to turn it on now. It was inside in the quad, so it's showing 6 degrees Celsius. She's starting to cool down. So up to this point now we've had lovely mild weather. It's definitely took a turn for the colder. So soil temperatures will definitely start to lower. So for the last 2 nights now we've had around minus 3 Celsius, which is, what is that in Fahrenheit? I haven't used this in a long time, so I actually nearly forget how to work it. But the cattle today are going to move on down the road. So I have a lovely dry place. There's a bit of picking in it for them. It's going to do them for the next 24 hours, and then I can continue then to feed them some silage after that. So they're anxious to get going. I've just been driving around here looking at what condition the ground is after them. The ponies are going to be coming in here now shortly. So I am going to close this video down for now and set myself up below where they're going. And I will do a little bit of testing of the soil to see what temperature we're at. So it's 5 degrees Celsius now. There's a little bit of heat in that sun. So the frost hasn't thawed out yet. What are you coughing at, girl? The frost hasn't thawed out yet. It hung around all day yesterday at the backs of ditches. So there's talk of snow tomorrow night, which means it's going to get a little bit milder. So we'll see. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of fencing and get myself organised, and I'll be back. So I'm still here. I'm actually been gathering fence. Let me knock this off. They're all definitely mad anxious to get moving today. They're following me around everywhere. They're expecting either to be moved or fed. And I'm here now the last 5 minutes, and I've done neither of them things. So what I had to do was I had fence all along here that I didn't gather over the last while. So that's what's been happening. The ponies are mad following me around the place, especially Potchy in here. He's an old pet. He's sitting inside in your pocket. But the ponies have been in here that little bit long. The cattle were in this area for 3 days, but the area that the cattle moved onto, they've been there for the week. So the ponies have been in here a week, so they're mad anxious to get moving as well. But I've been feeding them also, so we'll be able to get a look at the ground, what impact they've had when I moved them into here, and get a look through it, have a little walk through it. But yeah, they've been in here a little bit too long because of the bigger area that the ponies or that the cattle had. So the ponies are going to go into that big wipe now, and the cattle are going to go on down to a lower, drier spot, funny enough. So I have my fence there now. I better go and gather. I think the sun is in our eyes here. So the cattle are following me around like the Pied Piper, as well as the ponies. So I better get on and keep moving and get them sorted. Right, so I'll be back. Now we're on the move. I'm just hoping that they'll all come at once and I haven't to go behind them. So this is a one-man band at the minute. They're on the far side of that hedge, but they're coming. Thankfully, there's a few stragglers though. They will have to catch up. They're coming through, yeah. And then I can come back for the ponies. They're going to walk ahead now. The first few are coming very fast. I'd rather they were slower. I should have 19 here, I think. Come on. Come on, I'll count them going past. I'll stay quiet. Beautiful frosty morning, that's all I know. Come on. Come on. I think they're all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19. Here we go, Maverick. Mad hoovers. Right, okay, 19. I've had to tidy up, I've lots to do. Now for the ponies. So, they will be very anxious to get out there. And I'll be anxious to get them moving as well. I'm actually just gonna look here for a sec. You can see already, and it's an amazing thing. From December into January, we still have that little bit of green picking coming on. Now that's what the ponies have been now for the last week. They have it ate the clay and lots of dung put down, but you can see already the greening up that has started. So I have realised that we have two sources of energy and two sources of heat. Obviously the first and the main one is the sun, but I have found that once we put animals through in the winter time, whatever activity is encouraged under the ground has created heat, and there's that little bit of regrowth that I don't think we would have if we didn't graze it off. So there's definitely a difference there, and it'll be interesting to come along now in a couple of days time, even a week. So it's only been a week since they were here last, and the ponies were in here also. It'll be an interesting thing to see if that green's up now. Look at this lad again. God almighty. Right, so there's still energy in that soil, which is great to see on the third day of January. I'll move these ponies now. Come on. Come under. Under here, you gobshite you. Now you as well, donkey. Don't let me down. And Teddy, why are you going behind me? Obviously you have to be different. Oh boy. Right, they're all in now. Fantastic. So that field that the cattle have had a week to impact it, and now there's going to be another week, I suppose, with the ponies in on it. So I definitely have two different ways of grazing, one for the winter time and one for the active growing season. So we do have, as you saw, a little bit of growth coming on picking, but I very little in comparison to full on spring into summer with the perfect growing conditions. So I do not mind having extra tougher impact on ground in the winter time. So the ponies are going to be here. Like I said, the cattle were here for the last week. I'm going to give it another week hammering down. Them rushes there need to go down doing. I'll probably clean it up then afterwards. I know I'm saying that and I haven't it done, but I'm on for doing it. I just haven't had the chance. But I do not mind. They have lots of stuff left over actually. That's haylage. The ponies will clean that all up. So I do not mind giving that extra impact. There's no way in the world that I would do this in the middle of the growing season. You would completely stunt off your grass and you would slow things completely down. But having allowed this rest, graze and large long rests, 60 days during the growing season, it has allowed me to hammer away at it now in the winter time and try and draw back down what I have saved all through the year. So the grass is mostly dormant now at this stage. There's just a little bit of greening up going on, so I'm very happy to take as much as I can, or as much as I need. We're going to convert organic matter into dung, put it through the cattle, put it through the ponies, add in extra fertility via silage and haylage. That's more dung, more urine going down the ground, which will be my fertility for all of next year. So it's a compounding effect. Every year things can get better, in theory, and we'll see. But this is where the ponies are going to be living for the next week. I have lots more to do, so I'm going to close down here and I'll be back. So we are Saturday morning, the 4th of January. I never got back to finish my video yesterday, but we can finish it off today. As you can see, we have a hard frost. We had a freezing fog last night. So we have been frozen out now for the last 3 nights, 3 days like this. There's mild weather coming up from the south this evening, which potentially said there's a cold air mass coming in behind us, so we're going to be frozen out again next week. Dry but frozen. So yesterday, early in the video, you saw we got the cattle across the road. They're down here on a kind of a lane in between fields. There's this field to come into the week after next, and there's a field behind the cattle there that they're going into in the next couple of days. So for now, I'm going to feed them. They'll be glad of it with this cold weather. So I'm going to feed them a bale on this bit of ground and then move them onto grass when the snow brisk has gone. They'll probably be lying on the ground for a while, but we'll see how we get on. But I'm going to keep feeding them anyhow. So this is the carry on in a minute. Now let me knock this off. So you might be able to see a gate up there. That's where they're going to go in the next day or so. So they had grass, a full day's grass yesterday, and they're up. They're up and patiently waiting now for their bit of silage. So yesterday went well. I got them across, I got the ponies moved. I made a couple of videos, but I was doing a little bit of stuttering and spluttering and stopping and starting, so they may not make this video. I don't do much editing, as you've noticed. I press pause and I press go again. I'm not the most technically minded person. So this is what they're at. This is the perfect weather for these. Perfect weather for outdoor feeding or outwintering. So I'm very pleased with the winter so far. So I will pause this now and I'll go in. They're in a rushy out place there, so they have lots of shelter. I'll pause this video now. I'll come in, I'll try out their silage, and we'll have a little look around and we'll re-evaluate the situation. Yes, we'll do that. So I've two piles of silage just thrown out at the back, but I nearly got stuck in them rushes. That big pile of rushes there was up in between the front axle, and I couldn't get out of it. But I did get out of it. I had to do a little bit of reversing and a bit of pulling and dragging. But I said I'd just take a little video of the cattle as they follow me around. At the start of it, it's a little bit like that there. They're all around me. I throw off a little bit, and then maybe half of them will stay back. And then I'll throw out a second pile. Then a quarter will be falling back. And then eventually, as I go on out, normally Maverick here or Bell will still be following me around until the very last bit is out. But that tends to be the carry on. So I'll finish off what I'm doing and I'll be back. They're very happy to get that. So just as I said, we have Maverick and Bell. There's a few more after landing, but they're always the last to leave me. Now they've all arrived. Right, let me go and finish this. Here's a thing I was meant to do yesterday, forgot all about it. So we're 1 degree Celsius at the minute here now in Ireland, which is 34 Fahrenheit. Now we've had a mild start to the winter. It's starting, as you can see now, she's frozen. So I'm just going to go in and see what ground temperatures are like. Now the ground is really hard because it's frozen obviously, but I think it's softer out here. So we're back to freezing again now. So it's freezing still. That's why we have our white frost on the ground all the time. But let me just stick it into the ground here now. If it's soft enough, it should be warm enough still. Now, let that down. Right. Let me see what we have. Starting to rise. I'll just scan around real quick. Now I already finished the video and then I realised that I hadn't took my temperatures like I promised yesterday. Oh, it's quiet here. So what are we at? We are 2 degrees and it's saying it's wet. Sunlight is low. So the magic number is 6 degrees. The soil needs to be 6 degrees Celsius for any growth. So it's 2 degrees down there now, about 5 inches into the ground. It's 2 degrees, so that would mean that growth has completely ceased. Now it'll be interesting to see once I run the cattle through, once they graze it off, does that encourage microbial activity that would create heat? Wait, that light goes off. But anyhow, we leave it at that. We keep an eye on it. We have snow coming tonight apparently, and we will keep motoring on. So that's me finished now for the day. Today, as they were on grass for the last 24 hours, today they're only getting one trailer load. They're full obviously already from eating away here for the last day. So today is a full trailer load. I can tell when they come if they're hungry, if they're a small bit empty looking here in their stomachs, they'll be getting 2 loads. So tomorrow they'll be getting 2 trailer loads, which is about 2/3 of a round bale. So that's 19 medium to small framed cattle, including weanlings, calves. So that's 19 head. It would take 2/3 of a bale to feed them completely on silage only for one day. So the fact that they've had 24 hours of grass, they're still full-ish mostly. So one trailer will do them today, and I'll finish off the bale then tomorrow, and that gives me 3 days per bale. 1 day's grass, a half a day bale, let's just say, and a full day of bale. 3 days. So that's just under 2 bales a week to feed these 19 head. And a few at home as well, in fact. Actually, no, that's not true. Just to feed these 19 head. I have a bale at home that I'm working off as well. But sometimes I take a bit from this bale and look at thereabouts. So 3 bales, or 2 bales a week. A little under 2 bales a week. So yeah, that is the story now. There's snow promised. I don't think it's going to be too bad for us. If it comes bad in the south, it'll be bad enough. But it could come as rain and sleet. It all depends on how cold it is and when it decides to start accumulating. So, but either way, we're going to be frozen out now for the next week. So I will continue on moving them, continue on feeding them, keep an eye on ground conditions. They have firmed up really well. Obviously it's been dry and now they're frozen, so the ground is super solid here. So I'm fairly happy with that. So I'll close off this video now. I don't know what I recorded last or yesterday or the day before, but I'll try and take a look at it. If it makes sense, I'll put it together. I get stumped sometimes on what I'm saying. Things happen in the background that pulls my attention away. But I'm going to keep a tight eye on little lady here, and where's she? Belle, because I left Jasper in that little bit early with them two at home last year. So he was in, I think, at the end of March. So if he bowled the two of them immediately, it would be the end of March, February, January, the end of December. Their times would have been up, but I don't believe that happened. They were all still very young that time. So, but they will be the first to calf. I will say around maybe Valentine's Day. We'll keep an eye on them anyhow. So on the 4th of January, before the snow, I will say good luck and goodbye.